might have had a couple of technical difficulties there, shall we say, but nevertheless, hope you can all hear me now. Welcome to NXTGEN's Season 3 Round 12 at Zolder. I'm going to give you guys a quick update on current standings that were left for Round 11 at Alton Park last Wednesday. So we're just going to leave you with the sights and sounds of the number 7 Ferrari driven by Kobe. And in P1 current standings, we have NXTGEN's Hankin with 186 points. So Elliot is currently in P1 taking the lead, and next to Hankin we have NXTGEN's Lager. So Stuart in P2 with 184 points. 2 points separate P1 and 2. And in P3 we have Kobe, currently on board with the number 7 Ferrari, and he is in P3 also with 172 points, so he is well and truly in for a good shout of a gold, silver or bronze medal, shall we say, or cup. But nevertheless, we have my favourite position, number 4, that is, K Pincher with 162 points. And with 145 points we have Jamo. And Professor Bean with 144 points, loving the numbers. Number 7 Lucan with 140 points. RV Motorsport 125 points. Oh god, I need to pronounce this right, or otherwise I'm going to get told off. What was I saying last time? Lili. I'm going Li9. How about that? 107 points. V-Spec, the legend, with 103 points. And Sakin, who drives the Honda, 93 points. Nick with 89, Kevin with 88, Hempy with 86 points, Leafy with 81, Zally with 79, Gnarly with 78, and Grim with 38. And Urban Turtle 25. So that leaves you with the standings. Hankin, Lager, Fighter, Pincher, all in the top 4. So this race is most certainly going to be a good one, for the pure reason that the top ranking guys are really going to have to fight for points. So it's going to be interesting to see this race unfold. Hopefully we'll have no dramas, but nevertheless we will find out. And yes, so I'm going to leave you again with the sights and sounds of the NXTGEN's. Oh, just catching Kobe pushing that Ferrari a little too much. But yeah, I'm going to leave you with the sights and sounds of the GT3 class here for NXTGEN Season 3 of the GT3 World Tour. And round 12, we're here at Zolder. Ferrari disappearing off into another dimension. And we're on board with Gnarly in the 66 Chrome Mercedes. What a cool looking Mercedes that is. And I'm going to be back in about 45 minutes. Save my energy for qualifying and race start. And my god, am I looking forward to this race start. It's going to be a cracking race, and we will see you in 45 minutes. Alrighty. Wag diddly wado, folk diddlerinos. I'm very good, Micro. I hope you are well yourself. I'm sure you are. What did you think? That's the question. Oh, wrong way. Wrong way. Is that better? Yeah, okay. Happy days. So we've got just under 4 minutes left to go. And I'm quickly just gonna have a look at the scoreboard. Okay. So NXTGEN's Hankin currently running a P7 lap time of a .882 behind the very fast Mr. Pincher in the 77 Audi, who is exiting or entering the pits. He's coming back into the pits. Not sure whether that was V-Spec just leaving. Ciao ciao. Ciao ciao. But we're about to kick off qualifying. And with 186 points, NXTGEN's Hankin is 20 points ahead of Mr. Pincher. If he takes a P1 today and Hankin has a bit of a rough race, then that's most certainly going to affect the race standings at the end of round 12 here at Zolder. And Kobe in the number 7 Ferrari with 172 points in P3. And Pincher in P4. And Jamo in the 98 Ferrari. And we can see Stuart in the background there. Always a pleasure to see that man. Jamo. There he is in the pits. He is in 5th position, so he's in for a pretty good shout of a podium win. I think it's 20 races. I will confirm that. But yeah, it's 145 points. And with 144 points is the Professor. And he's currently in P3, first on the 2nd row of the grid here in the free practice at Zolder, and we just have 2 minutes left to go at free practice, and then we're going to be diving into the qualifying session. Anyone watching, please feel free to say hello in the chat. Any information is always appreciated. Lucan, 140 points. RV Motorsport, 125 points. He always runs pretty solid races, although I cannot see him in the lineup today. Lily in 9th place with 107 points, and V-Spec in 10th place with 103 points. So with just over 60 seconds left to go of free practice, we've got a pretty good look at the standings, although when qualifying comes, you usually see some of the drivers up their game, spending this time and free practice to memorize the track as best they can. So it's going to be an interesting one. We've got a great fight at the front of the pack, with Hankin Elliott, Stewart, Lager, Kobe, Fighter, and Pincher. I don't know his real name. Nevertheless, Hankin moving up to 7th, right next to NXTGEN's Lager, which is very interesting. Thank you, I appreciate that, brother. And the Professor entering the pits. So, we're just waiting for the drivers to finish the remaining laps. And then we're going to be on to qualifying. And we will see who is going to take grid 1, 2 and 3. And there's always been a little bit of drama on the first lap. So, whether we're going to be entertained with some drama today, I'm not sure, but we will find out very shortly. And Kobe eager to get out on the 20-minute qualifying session here for Season 3 of the NXTGEN's GT3 World Tour, and we're at round 12 here at Zolder. And he's going to want to be keeping these tyres up to optimum temperature, or rather increasing them to optimum temperature, as well as the brakes. Makes a big difference in this simulation race. And who else have we got? Everyone else leaving track. Well, I'm not going to comment on that one. But it's great to have the chrome. That's what you call a professional line. Only the pros use it. It's always a pleasure to see the number 46 Bentley on track, as he is now hunting Mr. Pincher. P4. Current standings for the NXTGEN Season 3 GT3 World Tour, and we've got Jamo in the 98 Ferrari in pursuit of the 46 Bentley, and just over 18 minutes left to go. Drivers are now completing their outlap. Oh yes, and of course saying hello to a new arrival today. First race for NXTGEN, so eyes are most certainly on the both of us, shall we say. So all my prayers go to the number 10 BMW, Raoul. R-O-E-L, I'm assuming that's how you pronounce that, Raoul. I'm not sure. Apologies if I've got that wrong. It's one of the great things I'm loving about this sim racing malarkey, though, is you meeting people from all over the world. And the other great thing is we've all got our sim rigs, we've all got our chairs, and we're all sat behind them right now, interacting with whatever is in front of their face in real time, and that is incredible in my opinion. So NXTGEN's Lager, Stewart in the 46 Bentley putting a time down of a 1:29.3. Kobe just running a little bit too wide there. I'm going to have to get the corner names up soon. In fact, I'll do that now. I'm going to be calling, I think I was calling him Lilai in the previous races, and that was wrong, so I'm going to call him Lili today. If I've got that wrong, I'm genuinely not taking the mic. But today you're going to be called Lili. And he is only half second off P1. Are the two Bentleys, and Professor taking P3 away from the number 9 Bentley. And everyone's starting to put their lap times down. Kobe running a little bit wide again. He's going to want to be getting the best lap time down as he possibly can. And he is now under pressure from the 77 Audi of Mr. Pincher. So that's most certainly, he's going to be seeing the infamous Bumblebee Audi in the rearview mirror of his Ferrari. And Hankin currently in P5 is the 44 Audi, a 0.771 off of P1, now owned by Pincher, knocking NXTGEN's Lager's time off by nearly 6/10, putting the 77 Audi in a 128.794. Jamo is in P5, knocking Hankin back into P6. Both third on the grid is the Audi and the Ferrari. Just over a 10th separating the two classes. We're going to jump onto camera set 2. And Professor in grid 1, and Kobe crossing that line, as well as Pincher. Neither of them able to capitalise. We've got Jamo next to cross that line. Is he able to capitalise on a 0.663? Yes, he is. A 0.291. Other drivers crossing the line. No change of hands as of yet. And the 98 Ferrari, a 420, behind P1. Lili knocking off the 77 Audi by over a 10th, which is cracking work. You could just see him in the rear of the camera shot there. Let's see if we can get a better look with just under 13 minutes left to go of qualifying. I do need to remember to take a photo as well of the end results. And of course, Paul the Helicam man is back again, doing what he does best. And I hope you're doing well, Paul. God bless your family. And NXTGEN's Lager nearly just a quarter of a 10th under a second, but yeah, just over 7/10 of a second off P1. Professor now in P3, Hankin in P7. I'm always seeing the next gen gamer tags next to each other, is the 44 and the 46, which is very interesting. Pincher back into the pits, making a couple of adjustments, taking a breather perhaps. I'm not necessarily too sure, but we have V-Spec yet to put a time down. The number 10 BMW in the pits 2.2 seconds away from the very quick time laid down by Lily in the number 9 Bentley. My god, I hope I'm getting that right. If anyone can let me know in chat, I would really appreciate that. But let's jump on board with the legend, the infamous 46 Bentley in the chrome orange and black British liveried Bentley. Stewart, as he crosses the line, not able to capitalise, unfortunately. But it's always a pleasure to have this man on board, and he's always one to watch. It's very common for the 46 Bentley to make up a few positions towards the latter end of the race. So strategy within Assetto Corsa Competizione is most certainly something to consider, because I believe that the pit times and the pit options and your pit choices, whether it's on manual, whether it's on automatic, how much fuel you put in, what tyres you put in on, what, you know, I'm not quite sure of the word, but what kind of, you know, how many laps you want to do on the tyres, your strategy, there we go, comes in the end. You know, you want to lay down, and the 46 Bentley seems to have his strategy down to a T. We'll see whether that comes true today for round 12 of NXTGEN's Season 3 GT3 World Tour here at Zolder, and we're closing in on 9 minutes left of qualifying. V-Spec still left to put a qualifying time down. But Lili, oh, I said it, didn't I? Lili is still in P1. NXTGEN crossing that line, as well as the Professor. I'm not seeing any change of hands as of yet, but we'll jump on board with Jamo in the 98 Ferrari. As I get the track corner names up for Zolder, and I also reopen the NXTGEN GT3 World Tour leaderboard, and Jamo in the 98 Ferrari with 145 points in 5th position, and Hankin with 186 points in P1. So most certainly one to watch. If the gods are watching over the 98 Ferrari, then he is most certainly in for a podium at the end of the season. But there is still a fair way to go if there is 20 races. Again, if anyone in chat would like to update me or let me know if they do know, that would be great. But nevertheless, we will continue on as Jamo crosses that line. And 0.681, putting him second on the grid. NXTGEN's Lager crossing that line, also still a 7.98, identical to Kobe in the Ferrari. How incredible that you can even have identical times. That's just, you know, awesome, absolutely awesome. So we will jump back out with just over 7 minutes left to go of qualifying. Lili in P1, Pincher in P2. Second on the grid, we've got the Professor next to Jamo. Third on the grid, we have Kobe and Stewart. We've got a bunch of Ferraris in P3, 4 and 5. All within a 10th of each other, which is beautiful to see. A couple of Bentleys next to each other, and the Audi of the number 44 Elliot Hankin, a 1.1 away from Lili in the number 9 Bentley, and 7/10 off Pincher in the identical 77 Audi. Say identical, obviously, you know, setups do make a difference, but nevertheless, Hankin is in the pit making some changes. Let's see whether those changes will work in his favour, as Jamo crossing that line yes again. 0.681, not able to capitalise. NXTGEN's Lager next to cross, now been putting himself in second grid as he comes to a halt and puts himself in the pits next to Sakin in the number 14 Honda. So his efforts have paid off and he is back in the pits. Just look at the size difference of the rims there between the Bentley and Honda. I find that interesting. But nevertheless, that puts him in bronze position, second on the grid, as the number 46 Bentley now exits the pits. Yes, most certainly, Micro. It's going to be very interesting to see. Be interesting to see you racing here as well. I think this is something you would probably really be suited in. But it is going to be interesting to see exactly what the number 10 BMW and none. I'm going to be calling him Raul. If his name isn't Raul, it is today. But we're going to be seeing what the number 10 BMW can do today as the number 46 Bentley traverses his way through Zolder. And still in 13th position, just behind Nick in the 108 Bentley. We jump on board with the newcomer. God be with him. And I think he is taking this opportunity to introduce himself, just running a little bit wide there, and I don't know, commentator's curse is a thing, and I apologise for being a commentator and cursing you all. It happens far too often. We're pinching out in P3, NXTGEN Lager in P4. And the Professor in P5, Kobe in P6. Next to the Professor in the 69, identical Ferraris. Running identical times yet again. A 0.603 is the Professor and Kobe in the Ferraris. As we jump on board with the Professor with just over 3 minutes left to go. Oh, I knew you'd be watching. Turn me off. Turn me off or put me on mute. Don't look. And Nali in P7 in the 66 Mercedes. Show some love to Nali. He gets the Livery of the Year award. Just think it looks pretty, like in the crowd. Only a 0.7 away from Lili, 0.1 away from the Professor, who is that 10,000th? Not even 10,000th away from P5 are the Ferraris. Yeah, look at that beautiful specimen of a GT3 Mercedes. And Kobe a 10th away from P4. My favourite position, which is currently occupied by the 46 Bentley. Stewart only 4/10ths of a second away from Lili, who has put a decent lap time down of a 1:28.359. And into the pits goes the number 3 Bentley, jumping on board with the world's favourite fairy Elliot Hankin in the number 44 Audi. And could do with finding my glasses. There they are. Over the line goes Mr. Elliot Hankin. And so, better get my phone out, ready for picture time. With just under 10 seconds left to go of Next Gen Season 3 GT3 World Tour Round 12 here at Zolder. We've got Hankin pulling over, letting the 66 Mercedes through. And all drivers now making the use of the remainder of their time on track. Next Gen Lager bringing it to a halt as the 46 Bentley puts him in what I would say a firm second grid position. And third on the grid we have Kobe next door to the Professor, the heist specialist. Okie doke. Photo taken. So that brings the qualifying session to an end. Lily in the number 9 Bentley taking home a comfortable first row position with a 128.359. And next door to the number 9 Bentley is the 77 Audi by Pincher, 282 behind, which is a fair distance over 1 hour's race. So we'll see whether Lili can keep up with that pace lap by lap, or whether that was just a very, very good lap indeed. But we will find out. He's been running some very good races and has been improving race by race. So the yellow flag being waved for absolutely no reason at all there. Next Gen's Lagers in second grid in the 46 Bentley next to the 98 Ferrari, and third on the grid is Kobe and the Professor, and fourth on the grid we have Nali and Bleaky. Fifth is Next Gen's Hankin and Kevin, and sixth on the grid is Sakin in the number 14 Honda next to the newcomer number 10 BMW Raul, and Nick and V-Spec bringing up the rear. So we're going to jump on board with Next Gen Lager as he is fourth, and always jump on fourth with the start as that gets the most action. You can usually get most cars in. Yes, I got a picture. Right, I'm just going to go get myself a drink. 1 second. So, I will reiterate the current leaderboards. I've left my glasses through there. P1 Hankin, P2 NXTGEN's Lager, P3 Kobe, Mr. Fighter, and P4 Pincher, P5 Jamo, P6 Professor, P7 Hukan Lukan, P8 Avi Motorsport, P9 Lily with 107 points, and P10 V-Spec. And Lily in P1, Pincher in P2, Jamo in P3, Lager in P4, Kobe in P5, Professor in P6, Nali in P7, and Bleaky in P8. NXTGEN's Hankin in P9, followed by Kevin Sakin and Nunn, Nick and V-Spec. So just under a minute left to go. We are going to get the green light for the warm-up lap. I'm just going to grab my glasses. Okie dokie. So the red lights have dropped for the opening formation lap here for NXTGEN's Season 3 GT3 World Tour. And we find ourselves here at Zolder for round 12. Of NXTGEN's World Tour. We have the newcomer with us today in the number 10 BMW. We've got Hankin in P9, so he's got a little bit of his work cut out to him today. But yeah, let's see how this one goes. And I'll be absolutely honest with you, this is actually my favourite part of the race. That right there, I think it's beautiful. I really do. It's oh, it just looks so goddamn awesome. Paul the Helicam man, always going to be here to do the awesome job that he does. And like I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, which some of you may have missed, this is going to be a good race. It's always good races. We always have a little bit of drama at the beginning. I don't want that. But that does create somewhat tension. Which, if you're a sports fan, that's why you're a sports fan. And that means that this race most certainly holds a lot on the line for a few drivers competing today. So I said I've given you, there we go, what a beautiful sight. I have given you the current standings for the NXTGEN's Season 3 World Tour, so you can compare that with what we see on track today. Okay, so I think all drivers are now coming up to the start-finish straight. We're going to be waiting for them red lights to drop, and then it's going to be green, green, green. I'm not going to be able to pronounce these corner names, so they're gone. And the red lights have dropped. We get the green, green, green for round 12 of NXTGEN's Season 3 World Tour. We've had contact already. I think that was the Professor. And that puts Hankin in P3. Leli and Pincher taking P1. And Kobe in P5. Look at them as all of the 600 horsepower plus with the 14 cars on track unleash all of those horses, and what a beautiful sound it is. Kobe in 5th position, chasing down Nali in the 66 Mercedes, and we have Hankin now being able to capitalize from a 9th into a 6th position. And Kobe just going a little bit too loose there, tyres not up to optimum temperatures, and he will have lost a couple of tenths there. And we have Bleaky in the number 3 Bentley, beautiful matte red, and he is being hunted by the 44 Audi of Elliott, who looks like he might be going for that move as they are hard on the anchors. Doesn't look like there's an incredible amount of space there. Very tight corners, so you're not going to be wanting to make a move there. And we've had contact, fortunately. Oh my god, thank god for that. Fortunately, the drivers are still on track, my good god. And none in P9. V-Spec in P10, Sakin in P13, and the Professor, who has caught up at the incident at the beginning, is finding himself at the rear of the pack, and Leli taking P1 away, 0.8 of a second in front of the 77 Audi, and we had the 77 Audi leading the race. When the red lights dropped, he was fortunately able to capitalize on quite a few positions, and Stewart only 0.3 of a second behind Pincher, so he's going to want to be just settling into his rhythm. And again, I mentioned earlier, we've got strategies to come into play here, so we need to see how the rest of this race progresses before the pit window opens, whether we're going to see any changes of position, whether Pincher's going to be able to hold on to the amount of pressure. And it looks like Stewart already applying that pressure with over 56 minutes left to go. They're already side by side as they make their way through the right hand corner. The 46 Bentley is on the outside line. He's given up, he's conceded, and that looks like he's given Nali, the 66 Mercedes, a few tenths, and he might have looked like he is going side by side with the 46 Bentley. It's already kicking off with over 56 minutes of the race left to go. We've both got different lines as they exit there. Has Nali got the better line, or is he going to have to slam on the brakes? It looks like Stewart is able to hold him off, but that means that Pincher in the 77 Audi is able to move on and move away. A 0.066, now 6.25 away from the 46 Bentley, and we have Kobe in hot pursuit of the battle for 3rd position, and Leli is well and truly, we just saw him at the front of the cameras there. And Professor has already managed to take a position away. All drivers in the racing line as they make lap 2 or 3 here at Zolder. Just over 55 minutes left to go. Was that Nali? Nali's made a mistake. He's conceded that position to Kobe. Hankin in the 44 Audi is now well and truly hot in the heels. He's going to be struggling with dirty tyres. Can Hankin make anything happen? Let's jump on board for a few moments with the 44 Audi as he is hard on the brakes, throwing it in left. Is he going to get a better line out here? It looks like, oh, he's put pressure back on the 66. He's already taken that away from the 66. Mercedes Nali not having the best few opening laps, and indeed the 44 Audi was able to capitalize on dirty tires, and now the 66 Mercedes is under pressure from the 108 Bentley Nick. P1 to 6 looks like they're most certainly getting into a comfortable position. Professor B now in P12, 4 seconds to catch up to Jamo, who put a pretty decent qualifying time down and has found himself in P11, and perhaps with some of the collisions or accidents, incidents, I'm not sure. And none in P9 is the number 10 BMW, and the number 11 Lexus, the legend Mr. V-Spec, only 0.3 seconds of a second away from the number 10 newcomer, and none. And we have Giamo in the 98 Ferrari, looking like he wanted to make a move, but perhaps beginning to apply pressure to V-Spec. Professor Bean, P12, he's made up 2 positions. He's now got 4 seconds to catch up to Jamo, who was running a very, very quick qualifying time, which I will refer to later. But with over 52 minutes left to go, we have V-Spec Nali with a 1.111. Just jumping back on board real quick with this guy as Hankin now in P6. The Devil's number, I'm sure his head is down, eyes are up. He's going to want to be getting on the podium, I am sure. Is Hankin currently leading the Next Gen Season 3 series? But that nevertheless doesn't mean he is out of the wind just yet. And look at this, the pack is still very, very close indeed. V-Spec and Jamo. Jamo only a 0.249. He was going side by side with V-Spec. We've most certainly got a fight going on here. But the fight between the 98 and 11 cars on track here for round 12. Zolder, he's gone side by side. Is he able to make it stick? V-Spec on the outside line. Is he able to make anything happen on the cutback? Is he able to get the run, or was he able to tap the brakes? As that's Professor B now chasing this fight. V-Spec saying, no, I'm having that position back. Is he able to make it capitalise? Well, he had the position there. There's been contact. The Ferrari's cut off the Lexus. My good God, have we got a fight on our hands here. And we jump on board with the Professor, because I'm telling you what, this guy is most certainly going to be catching up indeed, because these guys are fighting it out. And I know that the Professor has most certainly been studying alongside his heists the art of manipulation, and we are going to begin to see that here as Professor is chasing down V-Spec as Anun first to enter the first of the left and now right hand corner of Zolder as they all hurtle their way over the start finish straight and up to T1 under the sign, and it looks like they have somewhat got in their relative positions. We have Stewart currently in P3, 4 seconds away from P2, and Lily is most certainly proving to run a solid race indeed, as the fight for P4 between Kobe and Bleaky, and the number 7 and 3 cars on track. Is Kobe going to be able to handle the pressure? Is he able to run away? Or is Bleaky going to be making his moves? We will jump on helmet cam with the number 3 Bentley as he hunts down, as we hear the roar of that V8 twin turbo GT3 Bentley. Let's see whether Bleak is able to make anything happen. And we can just see as P3 crosses the first section of the camera every time we jump on board with these guys, and we can see in the background there Hankin hard on the brakes with that Audi, and Gnarly doing a great job hanging on in this fight. He's had a couple of rough incidents, but he's most certainly proven to be a solid driver here at Zolder, as we see Hankin hurtle his way through the left-hand corner there, as the Bentley continues to chase its way around Zolder through P4 as they hurtle their way through the left-hand and now right-hand corner as they come to the start-finish straight here at Zolder. We're going to jump on board with camera set 2, get a bit of a bigger picture and see what's happening in the background. We've got Hankin still in the lead. The number 3 Bentley looked like he had a pretty decent line there. Not sure whether he's going to go for a little bit of a move here. Maybe he's found a little bit of a better line coming out of this section of corners. Slowing fast out is always the case. And if you are racing, you want to get the best line out as possible. If you can pressure your driver into a defensive line and you take that racing line, you're in for a chance of getting side by side and shoving that car down the middle. But look at this. Bleaky doing an incredible job chasing Kobe down in the number 7 Ferrari, through the right, through the left, next right hand corner, not getting too early on that gas. We don't want to get too greedy, don't want the rear end to come loose. Traction control is there to save you, but if you push that car too much, it's still going to get loose. You're still going to lose a lot of time. And the number 7 Ferrari keeping it as flat as possible as they go up the groups. SES's sign. And Undo Bio Racer into the left hand side. Is Bleak able to make anything happen here as they exit the corner and hurtle their way? 1200 horsepower crossing that start finish straight, and it looks like Hankin is catching up to the battle for P4. And you can see on the LCD screens flashing P4 and P5, and nothing is happening yet. So we're going to jump on board with P1, the absolute legend Lili, and he has gapped the absolute missile Pincher 77 Audi by nearly 4 seconds. Now we're going to have to jump back on board with the Professor, because he is going to be making his move soon. We can see Jamo, he's made his way through V-Spec, and Raul in the number 10 BMW. So as we jump on board with the Professor, Flashy McFlash Flash, saying he wants or is going to be making that move soon on V-Spec. Who I think was a little bit late on the brakes there, and that's given the Professor what he wanted. His plan is coming to ahead, is on the inside line. He had that line, but the Professor is on the outside line. He's able to make it stick. V-Spec tucked well and firmly in the slipstream of the Professor. Is he going to make anything happen on the next section of corners? He looks like he's got a better run here, a little bit too much of a run. Unable to see that corner flatten out, I assume, as he was too close to the Professor, and unfortunately now given that time to the Professor, meaning that he is now in P11 and chasing down the newcomer Raul in P10 is the number 10 BMW. Bleaky is most certainly doing an incredible job. Igor 0.7.5 now. Let's jump on board quick. He's still firmly in the sights of Kobe, and I will quickly jump back on the leaderboard. And Bleaky is 19th with 30 points, but showing he is a Class S driver today here at Zolder. And Kobe is in P3 with 172 points. NXTGEN's Lager with 184 points in P2. And Hankin in P1 with 186 points in P6. And Jamo continuing to take the cars down one by one. A .444 is the legend. Jamo pushing a little bit too hard, and my god, that Ferrari has hit that barrier a little bit too hard. I think he's going to bring that car to a stop, or perhaps just let these cars go past. We've got Raul, the Professor, and V-Spec. Yeah, he's just letting them pass. Yeah, he did hit that hard. That's going to be some seconds worth of damage, and that means that that's going to most certainly have affected his race. And Jamo was in 5th position, or rather is in 5th position with 145 points. That's going to have affected his race gravely, and now he's got 42 minutes of suffering and time lost. Is he going to repair it? Absolutely, and we'll see exactly what that costs him at the end of the race. And he's gone off again. I think that his car's suffering a little bit too much here, or he's just letting Sakin pass perhaps. My apologies. He's absolutely an incredible driver. It just takes that, you know, split second of consciousness to slip and you are gone. But that's why we all love driving. And Bleaky now nearly a second away from Kobe. And into the pits, so he's going to be wanting to fix his damage. And check this out, we now have a fight for P9 as the Professor hunts down Raul. And it looked like Raul in the number 10 BMW was courteously letting the Professor through, and it looks like the Professor's made a mistake. Raul in the number 10 BMW hard on the anchors there, fortunately not going into the back of the Professor, and that's given V-Spec another run for the hunt. Now the fight for P9, as I believe, is that Nick in P8 in the 108 Bentley, doesn't realise he's got his hazards on. But yeah, wow, turn of events there again. But it looked like Raul was letting him through. Obviously a newcomer to the Next Gen series, obviously here to race, but at the same time he understands that these boys are fighting for points. So it's always great to see. And it looks like the Professor is making his way back through the pack. V-Spec only half a tenth. Half a second away, not half a tenth, sorry, away from Nunn, who slammed on the anchors to save a further accident between the two cars. Bleaky back up to half a second now, as the fight for P4 continues. Let's see whether Bleaky can make anything happen before the pit window opens, which is only a few minutes away. And then that's when the real magic happens. That's when you see a real change in position. That's when you see the drama start to unfold. And then obviously as that pit window closes, you see the real hunt underway, and you will most certainly see a change of hands in position. As we see Bleaky making his micro movements on his, I don't know what rig he uses, but on his sat in his own wheel and rig system, continuing to hunt down Kobe, doing a cracking job, as we all know that the number 7 Ferrari is a cracking racer on track, and it looks like he's gone a little bit wide there and given that position away to Bleaky in the number 3 Bentley. Kobe, I'm not too sure what happened there, but it appears that he perhaps ran a little bit wide and has given that position to Bleaky in the matte red Bentley. So, he has made it happen. Now the question is, can he make it stick? Or is the pressure from the up-and-coming star, Kobe, going to be too much? And what I love about this shot as well is not only can you see the micro adjustments that they're making with the steering wheel, but you can see the throttle and brake inputs to the percentages as well. So you can see just there, just going off, back on, and straight back on 100% there. But let's see whether these micro adjustments can hang on to P4. As Stewart comfortably holds on to P3. Let's see whether he can do his magic when the pit window open and closes. My eyes will be on the 46 Bentley as Beaky in the Bentley chases down P3 podium position, and you can just see the 77 Audi just leave the shot there as well. And V-Spec 0.333. We've most certainly got a fight on our hands here. He's on the inside line. They are side by side, but the power of the BMW is going back for the racing line. V-Spec doesn't want the inside line, but most certainly not. That's not the corner to overtake on, but we're going to be seeing a fight on our hands here as these two battle it out. Okie dokie folky, so we've got the pit window just opened. So that's going to be a 10-minute pit window. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please focus your eyes on the leaderboard. Check out this fight. Check out the leaderboard. Lily in P1 with a 128.359 is most certainly holding up to my previous statement of whether was it a one-lap wonder or can he keep up with that pace, and he most certainly can. 17 laps in, just nearly 4 seconds gapping Pincher and P2, and Nunn Raoul first to enter the pits, and V-Spec now passing. Raoul in the number 10 BMW, but as I mentioned, Lily in the number 9 Bentley with a 128.359 has most certainly shown that he is a true racer indeed, by showing that his qualifying time is also his race pace, so hats off to him. And hats off if he can hold on to P1, as he is most certainly using the most of the track widths here at Zolder. K Pincher in P2, also P2 in qualifying. Jamo was in P3 and now he is in P13. It's an unfortunate set of circumstances today, and that's going to have cost him dearly, unfortunately. However, this is racing and it will happen to others, so he is still in with a chance of a good shout at the end of the series, but we're going to have to wait and see what happens and how it unfolds for Next Gen's Season 3. Now, Next Gen's Lager in P4, currently in P3 now, P4 in qualifying, which was Jamo in P3, so everyone's still in their relative positions, and Kobe, Professor, Nali and Bleaky in P8, now in P4, the Professor P6, now in P11, but that will change after qualifying. So yeah, we've most certainly been treated to an incredible set of circumstances today for round 12 of Next Gen Season 3 GT3 World Tour. And Kobe, point 1 off Bleaky, and he's took it away. He was a point 1. I jumped on board to see what was going on, but he's taken that away, and Bleaky is going straight into the pits. So that means that Kobe is able to capitalise on a 1/10 of a second, but let's see what happens between these two as Bleaky now enters the pits. He's going to get a new set of rubber on. I'm going to keep a close eye on the number 7 Ferrari and see what he can do as we're coming up to the halfway point now of round 12 as Zolder for Next Gen's Season 3 World Tour, as the GT3s continue to battle it out with just under a minute left to go as we close our way to the halfway mark. V-Spec now in P8. So let's see what it looks like. What does a P1 lap time look like? I hope everyone that's joined in is enjoying the show. Feel free to say hello and how you think it's going, what you think is going to happen. Alright, you're not going to be treated to a lap time as the leader of round 12, maximising his pit window time there as well. And Pincher roaring past that pit stop. And I think that was the other Bentley of Stewart. No, there he is now. So into the pits does he go. So let's treat you to an onboard lap time of a very quick driver in the 77 Audi, pushing it to its absolute limits and also able to control it when it reaches its absolute limits. So well, I've always noticed that he always maximizes as many centimeters of track widths that he can, and that's no different here. For Zolder, as he goes under the group sign and under the Bid Racer Sportswear sign, and into the pits does the 77 Audi go. Well, it's an absolute pleasure to be reading the words from Mr. Hempy, who is not on track with us today, and most certainly missed. And I would also like to make a public announcement for Jenny to please stop talking while Daniel is watching the race. Thank you very much, Jenny. That's very much appreciated from the whole of the Next Gen team. And so we jump on board with the 46 Bentley, the legend, the man, the one and only, the living king, the god, Zeus. Stewart running a little bit wide there at Zolder, is the Brit. And it's great to see, it's great to see Stewart wearing his Nissan gloves as he drives for Bentley and now enters the pits. Nissan Nismo. It's Nissan and Bentley love, perhaps. But he is entering the pits, so that means... Hey up. Lily and Pincher have exited the pits, and now Pincher is in front of Lily in P2. So I'm just going to stay on board with these two because I want to see where well, that's P1 and that's P2. So what does that put the 46 Bentley in? A comfortable P3 and only 9 seconds away from the very quick number 9 Bentley, who is now in pursuit of Pincher, who was gapped by 3.5 seconds and has now been gapped by 3.5 seconds. So that is a very interesting turn of events, and like I said, the 46 Bentley now in third position at the end of the pit window. What an interesting turn of events indeed. 24 minutes 44 seconds left to go. Kobe in P4. Gapping Bleaky in the number 3 Bentley by 4 seconds. With 24 minutes left to go. We've most certainly got a race under our hands. Hankin in the 44. Audi is being chased by the Ferrari and Mercedes of the Professor. And Gnarly. Let's see what these three drivers can do. As they continue to traverse their way through round 12 of Zolder. Quickly have a look at the standings again. It looks like the 66 Mercedes has unfortunately made another mistake. There he is, the Professor, making his micro adjustments, sat behind his rig in the UK. As he continues to hunt down the 44 Audi of Elliot Hankin, who is chasing Bleaky, who is chasing Kobe, who is chasing Stewart in the 46 Bentley, but 10 seconds worth of chasing. It's going to have to be, Stewart's going to have to make a mistake there. Big one now is 12.3 with just over 21 minutes left to go. Hankin in P6, currently leading the series with 186 points. In P3 is Stewart, currently in P2, leading the series with 184 points. And Kobe currently in P4, and P3 in the series with 172 points. And a Pincher in P4 with 162 points. Well, I was wondering whether he had a terrible pit stop magic, but I'm also wondering whether fuel, like, did he need to put in that amount of times worth of fuel because Pincher already had it in, is what I was thinking. I don't know, but this is what I love about strategies, and this is why it makes it always so interesting, because we just never know what's occurring. But it looks like the drivers are getting into the flow Gonna give a little bit of love to Raul. Recently back from a holiday from, was it Croatia? Can't remember. Currently 0 points for NXTGEN's Season 3 World Tour. And loves Assetto Corsa so much that he ended up getting a wheel and chair just for this game. Perhaps even a PlayStation. And again, it's great to have known this guy. He's an absolute legend. Quick dude. And probably not going to push as much as he usually would. Because he is representing himself and myself today for NXTGEN and TMK Racing 444, as he has been competing in the TMKup Season 1 UK GT3 Tour, 6 races. And the UK Tour also included Spa in Belgium, which I didn't realise until speaking with this man. But absolutely lovely dude, and I hope to see this guy continue to race for NXTGEN. One absolutely beautiful sound. I'm gonna have to have a listen to all the different cars now. Well, exhausts are in the rear of this car, so I guess we'll stay from the rear, but we've got a very high-pitched V10 Audi GT3 singing its heart out. Close to 600 horsepower, and still in P1. 3.5 seconds was the gap to P2 in the number 9 Bentley. Now that's been reduced to a 1.993. So with 16 minutes and 47 seconds left to go, I think Lili is most certainly in for a shout for P1, especially if the 77 Audi makes a mistake. And the Bentley. Very low growl, V8 twin turbo. The Ferrari. The iconic Italian V8 singing its heart out, and of course the Mercedes, which you can only describe as absolute grunt. Very successful car across multiple GT3 and GT4 series, including the British and the Fanatec series, the World Series, and the Lexus. Don't see many of them, but a popular one for sim racers. What's happened here? Professor Bean in the 69 Ferrari is only 0.7 of a second away from the 44 Audi. Elliot Hankin, who is currently chasing Bleaky down in the number 3 Bentley, and 6.3 seconds of road left to go. Can the mid-engined cars here do anything as Kevin in the pits as he hears the Audi and Ferrari sing. Jumping back on board with that BMW real quickly. Listening to the grunt of the very popular BMW brand M6 and a pop. Come up to the sidewall. Oh, what a beautiful sound. And of course we have the Honda. But we cannot come off board with this fight. Not really the position to make any moves, which is why P7 backed out of the opportunity for P6. But it looks like he has the number 44 Audi's number indeed in his sights as they exit the remaining corners, coming up to the start finish straight, I think, under the Bayer Racer sign, up to the penultimate set of corners here at Zolder, and the round 12 of NXTGEN's Season 3 GT3 World Tour continues. Over the start finish does the Audi and the Ferrari go into the left hand bend, and it looks like Pincher is most certainly getting his head down as he wants to hold on to his P6. Not really in for a chance of P5 unless any major dramas happen, but put under pressure. Yeah, we can see him side by side now, and I don't know whether that's given the Professor another run. Taking a very close line there. I'm assuming that's to apply pressure. Making the most of the track widths, but who's got the better run out here as the Ferrari plants all 600 horsepowers down through them Pirelli softs, hard on the brakes behind the number 44 Audi of Elliot Hankin in P6, and in P8 is the number 66 Mercedes. Elliot going defensive, going back into the racing line, but it looks like they're going to go side by side. Not quite able to make anything happen, but it looks like the Professor has the number down for Zolder as they make their way under the Yokohama sign. A little bit too late on the brakes. He's going to have to take a warning there. Eager to take that position away from Elliot Hankin in P6, and Lee only 0.8 away from P1. My good God. It's going to be backwards and forwards between the fight for P1 and 6. We'll jump on board with Paul the Helicam man with just over 10 minutes left to go. We've got a sixth of the race left to complete, and Lely hard on the brakes there. I think that's cost him a few tenths Still only 0.477. And now the Professor, a 0.336 from Hankin. 9 minutes 40 seconds left to go of Next Gen Season 3 GT3 World Tour. And round 12 here at Zolder. We have an incredible fight here between number 44 and 69. And the number 66 Mercedes may indeed be able to capitalise if indeed we have any dramas unfold between the Ferrari and Audi. But with 9 minutes left to go, that time is most certainly closing to an end. Lely now a second from Pincher. Eight minutes 30 seconds left to go. You can just see the different suspension and body roll at work between the two cars here, and you've got to it's different driving skills. You can't just drive the same in these cars, especially a front-engine V8 twin-turbo Bentley and the mid-engined very aerodynamic Audi. But Professor Bean and Lely both 0.4 of a second away from taking P1 and P6 away. Is anything going to happen with under 8 minutes left to go? We are closing to an end for round 12 here at Zolder. He's making that move. He's side by side with the 77 Audi. Is he going to be able to make this stick though? That is the big question. Out of the right hand corner into the next right hand corner, planting as much of them horsepowers down as they possibly can as they come up to another tricky section here at Zolder. Hard on the brakes, maximizing as much of this track as they can here at Zolder. It looks like Pincher's got a cracking exit there. But the power of that Bentley will always draw any of these cars in when a straight's involved, but there's not many straights here, so the natural oversteer of the Bentley will come into play. Professor Bean still 0.4 away from Hankin in P6. Lely 0.3 seconds away from Pincher in P1. Is he able to make anything happen as they now come up towards traffic? And Raul. Oh, this is most certainly going to create some tension. I can I can say that much. 6 minutes left to go. Is in the slipstream. He wants that inside line. He's going back to take the outside line. K Pincher taking sort of a mediocre line. Is the power plant able to make anything happen as he unleashes all 600 horsepower? It looks like he's got a pretty good run here. He's had to back out, otherwise he would have been side by side up towards this very tricky section, but that pressure has worked. K Pincher has had to run wide. He's going to have had a track warning for that. 3 of those, and of course you are stung with a penalty. No! And none's gone to give them space. And unfortunately that wall has flung him back in, which we see so often. Both drivers entering the pits. That's going to be an interesting one for P1 and P2. So Next Gen Lager 17.666. and obviously now I'm going to take P1. It'll be interesting to see what happens between the fight for those two. As of course they were fighting for P1, and perhaps that will still be the case with the scoreboard depending on Stuart's inquiry. But that was most certainly a shame indeed, as obviously we saw him try to get out the way for the front runners, but nevertheless Professor being a 0.3 away from Hankin with only 4 minutes left to go. And the 66 Mercedes has most certainly caught up with a few car lengths. 0.1 second and a 0.269 away from the 69 Ferrari. Oh, and it looks like that pressure is most certainly on. It looks like Nali's made a mistake. Professor Bean has gone on the inside line to K Pincher. Is he going to be able to make it stick though? Side by side they go. K Pincher. No, so it's not K Pincher, it's Hankin. Sorry. I'm getting confused with the other fight. But he's able to just hold on. They are. Look how close they are. Side by side yet again into the right hand corner. Is he able to get a better run out? The Professor chasing down Elliot Hankin in the 44 Audi. We've got some incredible racing here, side by side yet again, but is he able to get the better run out? The 66 Mercedes back in for a shot. What incredible racing we have here at Next Gen Lager, comfortably in what I'm going to be calling provisional P1, 15 seconds in front of Kobe in provisional P2. 2 minutes left to go. Nali still in for a shot of P5 or P4. The Professor's most certainly giving us some entertainment here today. And we've got Pincher 8 seconds ahead of Leli now, so that's most certainly come to an interesting end. They were still in P1 and 2. I'm sure the stewards will take that into consideration for the points, but nevertheless this is racing. It's a very unfortunate event, especially after he tried to get out of the way, but we must go on as we only have 70 seconds left to go until we'll go to race end. We're going side by side yet again. Is he able to make it stick this time? Hankin, the 44 Audi, side by side. It looks like he's able to make it stick, but is he able to make it stick through these next set of corners? It looks like he has. Is the 44 Audi going to be able to make anything happen here with only 40 seconds left to go? And of course he doesn't want to lose out on another position to Nali in P6, meaning Professor being taking P4 with only 60 seconds left to go.
Leaders on final lap now.
So Next Gen Lager crossing that start finish. We're going to have to stay on board with this fight for P4. And it looks like the Professor has most certainly got the track down here at Zolder. and that's gonna be worthwhile. For the points system, running a little bit wide, he's gonna have dirty tyres. That's gonna give Hankin last breath as they make their way through the remaining set of corners here for round 12 of the Next Gen GT3 World Tour. But I'm not sure that he's able to capitalize with that mistake. And of course, Next Gen's Lager comfortably in a provisional P1. Oakley, so Next Gen Lager taking a provisional P1. Congratulations to such an incredible race. That'd have been a P3. Podium and Kobe taking home P2, which would have been a P4. And Bleaky looks like he will take P3, which will be a P5. And Professor nabbing P4 away from Hankin. What an incredible turn of events. And P5 goes to Hankin, still an incredible race, well deserved. And Nally in the 66 Mercedes with a P6. V-Spec with a P7. And Nick in P8. V-Spec crossing that line. The legend indeed. It's going to be some good points for P7, and Nick next to cross that line, as is Jamo, who's also become victim to some unfortunate events, which again is racing. It happens. It's happened a few times today and in all of the other races, and but nevertheless, the show must go on like real life racing. And that means that congratulations to Stuart, Kobe and Bleaky for taking home a P1, 2 and 3. Congratulations to Professor taking P4, a very well deserved P4 and a very well driven race against the 44 Audi of Elliot Hankin. And of course we can't forget Pincher in the 77 Audi, which would have been a P1, and Leli very close to getting that P1 back, but nevertheless the stewards will be taking the racing incident into account, I am sure. But that brings us to a close. We've most certainly been treated to some incredible racing today, and some eventful racing as well. Of course, they will be back next week for round 13 of Next Gen's Season 3 GT3 World Tour. I want to say a big thank you to everyone that's joined in, watching the stream live. Thank you to everyone that's been commentating, and of course smashing that like button. It does help me, as repetitive as that is. And a big shout out to Jamo. You've had some unfortunate events, but at the same time, matey, you've proven your worth. And Professor Bean, don't know whether he's going to treat us to some celebratory donuts. Yes, he is. And hello, Daiko. I hope you are well, my friend. Yes, congratulations indeed to Bean for putting his head down. He most certainly did deserve that micro. And yes, that is me. I'm going to bring that stream to an end. Congratulations to all drivers. We'll be seeing you next week. And I am now going to be going on Drift X. Anyone that wants to join in, there'll be an open lobby under TMK444. Until next time, that'll be me, and I'll see you next week. Ciao, ciao.